You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Hey everybody, good evening. We just jumped right into it tonight, and it's Friday. You know, it was a scheduled night off, but because we're going to be on our little retreat into the wilderness that we do every October as a family for a weekend. Actually, no, this is the first time we've done it in a weekend, which is actually great because now I don't miss 5 days of work, which always, you know, it's good to be away and to reset yourself somehow, even if you're just in your back porch. But it'll be nice. Be nice going for a weekend and hanging out. But I didn't want to take too many Fridays off in a row. And of course, when we come back, Fridays are going to have a whole new look. And the weekends are going to continue to be developed in their own little special way. But here we are tonight, and it's going to be perfect time for some calls. Because I've got things that I've been watching. Many of you have been watching. Theories that have been getting developed. And popcorn that's being popped. So welcome to this show. It is the September 26th broadcast, 2025. I'd also like to tell you a few things. Number one, for those of you who follow the show on Instagram, please take screenshots whenever you come across a reel on Instagram that shows that I liked it. I want to see the ones that made you laugh the most, that you're like, oh my gosh, Frank was here too. Or made you laugh because you saw that I liked it. I want to see those, because I'll tell you, there's one person that I see on the worst reels imaginable are all liked by Brandon Joe Williams. And every time I see him, I just tip at the cap. So I want to see how I'm popping up on your feed. That's number one. Number two, we got the raffle for the electroculture basket. We're going to be giving that away in a little bit. Number three, and this one is for the YouTube audience only. Okay, I was told by 3 people, including a fact check with Grok, that if I voluntarily demonetized the nightly broadcast, I would essentially negate all of the work that I took on when I wanted to correct the show's copyright issues, and that I would stifle my visibility in search results and lower my prioritization in recommendations, etc., etc. So you're going to be seeing some ads. But I figured out how to limit them to once every 18-20 minutes. So that's it. If you want an ad-free live experience, there's pilled.net, which is embedded nicely on Quite Frankly.tv. It has like a skippable ad right up front, and then that you never see anything else again. There's DLive, there's Twitter, there's Kick, which are all smooth and already have well-established chat rooms, and everybody's having their thing. So, hey, listen, I've been trying to get people to watch the show on non-YouTube based platforms for years for a variety of reasons, not least of which my fear of losing the channel. And in turn, losing contact with, at least at the time, about 1/3 of the audience. It has since spread out and it's doing its thing. But I would hate to think that after the last 5 years of roller coaster riding and censorship threats and everything else, that me getting monetized, a good thing, is what finally drives people off. So just letting you know, it shouldn't happen more than once every 18, 20 minutes. I just want to see if this works. And personally, I don't know how anybody can be a regular YouTube user and not have premium. I haven't seen an ad on YouTube in 10 years since they launched YouTube Red. But again, Pilled, Kick, DLive, Twitter, all ad-free while we're live. All right, let's get on to something else. Here's a couple of things I want to throw out there, and then I have some bigger thoughts that I want to toss your way. Number one, this is from Yahoo News, a little bit of news for you. The U.S. Supreme Court lets Trump withhold $4 billion in foreign aid. This is written by John Krutzel. The U.S. Supreme Court sided again on Friday with Donald Trump, allowing his administration to withhold about $4 billion in foreign aid authorized by Congress for the current fiscal year as the Republican president pursues his America First agenda. This case raises questions involving the degree to which a president has the authority to rescind funds Congress has appropriated for programs that do not align with his policies. The U.S. Constitution gives the Congress the power of the purse. Wow. That is some really deep constitutional analysis by all of the assholes over there at Reuters, Thomson Reuters. Real deep analysis, yes. Yeah, power of the purse for Congress, absolutely, but they do not have the power to open the purse and just give it to anybody around the world for any reason, even if we can all agree that objectively, one program or another would bring about a good thing, a good result that was not possible, that it would ever go sour. It doesn't even matter. It is not an authority. There's no authority for Congress to just give money away. But there is authority for the president to veto that and to say no. But we're not talking about we're not talking about constitutionality of foreign aid here. We're just talking about petty party politics that leaves us all with absolutely no leg up. None. So that's that. I would love, you know what I would love to see? I would love to see all the funds pulled for the Ukraine war, finally. Let's pull all the funds for the Ukraine war. Let the rest of the world fight whatever kind of battle they want through that sock puppet in Ukraine. Do that. But no, we've actually been getting more antagonistic toward Russia as of late, which is pissing me off. But we've been doing far more important things on this show, so I've just been concentrating on that. Hope you've been having a good time. Then we have this from Zero Hedge. Leaked memo reveals FBI deployed a stunning 274 agents on January 6th, causing internal revolt. The FBI deployed nearly 300 plainclothes agents to the U.S. Capitol during the January 6, 2021 riot in an effort that became so chaotic, it caused an internal schism within the agency that led many rank and file at the Bureau at the core competencies that had been lost to wokeness. Oh, yeah, well, I have to imagine that you would have you'd have gotten that impression when FBI agents were kneeling at George Floyd events in Washington, D.C. with their masks on. I would have to imagine that was a watershed moment as well. And that employees had become pawns in a political war, according to an after-action report hidden from the public for over 4 years until it was obtained by Just the News. Anonymous complaints were sent to the after-action team by scores of FBI agents and other personnel, many from the Bureau's premier Washington field office, detailing how agents were sent into a dangerous situation without proper safety equipment or even the ability to identify themselves as armed officers to other police agencies. Well, I would surmise that it's because were they ever going to reveal what? Were they ever there to reveal themselves, or were they there working an operation? Were they working a mission? The mission was not to reveal themselves. It was, to assist. And like everything else that we have to deal with here in the land of the dead, this is going to be validation for both sides. We will see this as obvious, incognito, feds crawling all over a chaotic scene of mass entrapment. Okay? Doing what they can, blending in. The jellyfish, on the other hand, they will say, well, thank God the FBI was there. They saw a situation with right-wing extremists who just couldn't get over an electoral loss. They saw a really bad situation starting to come to a boil. And thank God they were there. Imagine how bad it would have been if they weren't there, to take out a little bit of Pfizer logic for you. Which makes no sense, of course, because, like I said before, they never revealed themselves. They just blended in and assisted with what? Holding the doors closed? No, keeping them open. Cheering people on. Like, what was happening? So, like I said, this is where we're at, where everybody will take this as proof positive that whatever. Now, more so on the other end of things, we have this. As quickly as Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes were given their YouTube channels back, I guess they were. I don't know. All I heard about was that, obviously, if you go back to what we were talking about with Rich Barris this week about YouTube and their ridiculous half-baked mea culpa about, there was a lot going on in 2020, and we didn't know which way was up, and we wanted to make sure that free speech didn't hurt anybody. Last thing we wanted people to do was have completely unregulated free speech while they were locked inside their houses, eating Funyuns, sitting in the same underwear that they've been wearing for the last 3 weeks. We wouldn't want them to have the freedom of thought. That could have been dangerous. While they put everybody out of work and they made small businesses go get into deals with the devil with all that business money that came with all of the footnotes of obeying the government and whatever, turning off power for people who dared to show up in their barber shops and cut anybody's hair who wasn't Nancy Pelosi. It's so yeah, it's angry. It really is. But then we got this news that there was going to be this turnaround, and it was all really focused in on COVID stuff, because when you talk about Alex Jones, I mean, that's way before COVID. And I don't get swept up in the InfoWars rallying cries, especially now. Alex Jones is more available than he has ever been. And he was going years before the vague COVID policy started overruling everything. Because remember, that people were getting kicked off of YouTube for all types of things. I mean, in October of 2020, that was a major purge, and that was all alternative news channels. That was people, because they were talking about Q. I don't know. It's which is ridiculous. You talk about people like Zach at Red Pill 78. Or even Dave at X22, or Sean. I mean, so many of our friends who were really, who cares what they were talking about? But it was just, people were hopeful that the decoder ring messages that they were getting from 8chan was going to lead to high-profile arrests. That was considered dangerous. They had to say it was. But it's nuts. I mean, people were losing their accounts, or they were getting strikes. There was problems all over Twitter at that time too, for any of the whistleblower nonsense that was going on. The Eric Ciaramella guy, that was like Voldemort. He was like Voldemort for a little while. Don't even say his name. You're now putting undue attention onto a whistleblower or something like that, personal protection shit. They always act like people are coming after them. Bunch of nutcases. But these, it's okay when these liberal powwow circles of people are giggling about actual murder on the TV or anything else. That's fine. And let me also say something about this. Oh, actually, just to go back to this for a second, and then I'll get to that. Newly created YouTube accounts for the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and far-right commentator Nick Fuentes were both taken down hours after the creation, despite anticipation that the platform would begin reinstating banned accounts. Oh, and now this is behind a paywall that it wasn't before. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know why I thought that was going to take, but I guess they just gave it a shot. I remember Brendan Dilley, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, it took Dilley a couple of attempts before he was allowed to keep his account alive. I remember he was making accounts every other month, seeing if he can get past, but he was just get taken off. BCP, the same thing. The same thing. But then we have this Jimmy Kimmel thing, which really backfired, if you ask me. But it's not. It backfired in an optics sense, because again, every responsible employer or carrier should have the right to discontinue working with somebody who brings shame to the operation. That's what I was saying. You know, it's one thing if a company's mission statement is loudly and proudly out there, and there are a good amount of people who believe that it is discriminatory or it is profane, whatever the hell it is, fine. I have no problem with exclusive spaces. I have no problem with people who want to discriminate. I have no problem with it. You shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. I am also, at the same time, because it falls right under that category of companies firing people who bring some sort of negative light to the company, especially if those people are taking it upon themselves to act in a contradictory way to whatever the company's policies are. Whatever. That's once again an internal matter. And so that was what was going on with Jimmy Kimmel. I said, oh, well, wow, look at that. Some accountability for somebody going up there and just saying something wrong, making a declaration about a murder that otherwise was pretty warmly received. Because even now that Jimmy Kimmel is apparently back on his show, I don't know where it's available. I really don't even know the details. I just see how these things are. What's the latest thing to happen? The latest big update, and apparently he's back. And even Sinclair is reversing course on the whole thing. Now it's just one of those things where he overcame censorship. These psychos and their mental jujitsu, they turned him into a free speech martyr. Some have even continued to taunt. Using the Charlie Kirk murder as a taunt by saying, hey, we got our guy back, but you can't get your guy back because, of course, he's dead. Like the monsters are still out there. And of course, like I said, if that's how you want to portray yourself to the world, if that is whatever is driving you, whatever is inside of you and driving you to act this way in public over politics or your perception of what is real, cheering death and all that stuff, if that's what's driving you, then fine. Put yourself out there compulsively. Just spilling the contents of your fucking near empty brain into the public sphere there. Go ahead. But man, I'll tell you. You think you're going to get, wow, well, finally somebody got somebody had to pay a price. But no, the club, it's the easiest thing in the world, especially to be a Democrat. Easiest thing in the world. So it all ended up being like throwing lighter fluid on a dying flame. Now we know lighter fluid has a very short lifespan as far as how much fuel it provides. We'll see how long the flare-up lasts. But still, on to Charlie Kirk now. This is something I've just been sitting back watching, and you think about these people here too, who live on the shallow end of the pool, and are really just are showing you the worst of humanity, the worst how it can be, especially how unthinking it is and how unreasonable it could be. If you really think about it, okay, there's so many question marks about this murder. There's so many question marks about this assassination that you would think that even if you did feel like Charlie Kirk's voice being taken off the earth is an advantage to you politically because there's less to contend with intellectually, even if you felt that way in an in an unspoken way. You would hope that some people would still say, I wasn't really a fan of Charlie Kirk, but what the fuck? Something's wrong about this. Something is wrong about this. And if some basic information about this situation really makes it seem like the shooter, who everybody is paying attention to, who Jimmy Kimmel made his little comment about whether or not it was a right-wing guy, a left-wing guy. I mean, that's the red herring right there. What was the motivation of the shooter? What was the politics of the shooter? And because people are so brain dead, that has been enough. That's been enough for a lot of people. Not you, of course. That's been enough for a lot of people. What are the motivations of this kid, Tyler Robinson, that we've been served? This face, this name that we've been served up, what are the motivations, and who's got to own him? Who's got to own him? Well, I got to be honest. I saw the breakdown that many of you have seen. I've seen people talking about it in the Discord and elsewhere. It's by Range Day Bro. I put it in the Interesting Shite playlist on YouTube if you want to go check it out. I got to be honest. I saw this breakdown of the assassination that is starting to make the more sense than anything else. He identifies, Range Day Bro identifies what seems to be the true and accurate trajectory of the bullet, of a bullet, complete with what they present as a muzzle flash and a report that is coming from a window or some location right over the right shoulder of Charlie Kirk, which would make what we saw an exit wound, not an entrance wound. And I was watching this over and over again, and because it's not that graphic, but there's no way to look to really consider what's going on right now without seeing stuff. And it just made me think about everything else that was missing. I don't know if we're ever going to get an autopsy report. I don't know if we're ever going to get a ballistic match confirmation or something. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but if the shot came from the right shoulder coming out to the left side or some angle thereof, I got to say, as Range Day Bro lays out, if that is what we saw as an exit wound, it would make perfect, abundantly sound sense as to why immediately afterwards it was almost like the cleanup crew down there at the Georgia Guidestones. Somebody blows up the Georgia Guidestones. Nobody knows who did it to this day, and everybody was so hell-bent on finding out the truth that they completely cleaned up the crime scene within like 36 hours and hauled off all the pieces like it was 9/11. Just get this shit out of here and make naval vessels with the scrap metal. Get it out of here. Get it out. And you think about what has been done at this campus in Utah now ever since, with all the new construction that was going on. I think they took up the concrete and replaced it. You start wondering to yourself, did they take up the concrete? Is that where the bullet struck? What is it? Is that where the bullet would have really struck? And then to tip my cap to people who pieced this together, because the first question I had was, why wasn't there blood splatter blown out against the TPUSA backdrop? Okay? And then we were given an answer. And when we were given that answer, that's when I had to just be quiet with myself for a couple of days. Because Again, this was one of those things. It's something I wish we had more time to do with Jay Gulanello last night, because it is essentially the new magic bullet theory. We are being told a literal miracle happened. And I'm telling you, the JFK, this could be, if not matching. I know it was an American president. I know, when you talk about the evolution of the deep state, the autonomy of the shadow government and their ability to finally off a president and let everybody know who's really in charge. I understand that it's very hard to beat that, but it very well could be matched. And this very well might match it, especially when you think about the significance of this as for a generation. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this situation at first. I'm looking at the footage, and that's one of my earliest thoughts. I said, "What the hell?" But why, for such a gory scene, why the hell was there nothing going on behind? Especially if we're told that somebody was using the 30-aught 6 round from just 200 yards in front. Okay, 200 yards from the front. 30-aught 6 round. First time I shot that, my shoulder was sore for a week. And where the hell did the bullet go? And what was the exit wound? What the hell are we talking about here? Then we started getting things like this. Now, this is from News Nation. This was on September 21st. This was on Sunday. All right, hold on. Here we go. Headline: Charlie Kirk stopped bullet, a life-saving miracle, said spokesman. Okay, the high-velocity bullet that claimed the life of Charlie Kirk on September 10th miraculously did not exit the conservative activist and harm others at the crowd event where Kirk was assassinated, the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show said on Saturday. Kirk was fatally wounded when a sniper fired a single round from 200 yards away on the campus of Utah Valley University and struck him in the neck. Andrew Colvett, who produced Kirk's popular talk show, suggested that the bullet's failure to injure or kill others who were behind Kirk is cause for celebration. He said the surgeon who tried to save Kirk at the hospital expressed surprise that the bullet went no farther, but also noted the density of the patient's body. Where the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk was found, the bullet, quote, should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him, too, Colvett said. The physician told him on Saturday. The anecdote was shared on social media platform X. The coroner found the bullet just beneath the skin. Just beneath the skin. That was it. Kevlar skin, said Colvett, who also serves as spokesperson for Kirk's Turning Point USA. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous, he said. Now, first of all, it's crazy. It's crazy how in July of 24, last year, we spent a lot of time digesting the gravity of what Donald Trump's brush with death really meant. Okay? We talked about what hung in the balance, how the world would have changed because of who he was and what he was out there trying to accomplish, how the geopolitical makeup of the world at the time when it came to war and peace and whatever the hell else, how all that would have changed one path or another if Donald Trump were to have died in Butler, Pennsylvania. We were talking about all that stuff, speculating. We're talking about probabilities and all that. And, you all know this very well, how hard of a time I had. I've had guests make valid arguments, and I can see where they're coming from, and they're categorizing it as a miracle. Because whereas I had a hard time calling it a miracle, because there was a family in the crowd that day whose world did change forever when their father caught a stray and died, I'm having a hard time accepting that even though we watched Charlie Kirk die a terrible death in public, that there was a miracle happening simultaneously, and that miracle was that Charlie Kirk's neck was strong enough to catch a 30-06 round from 200 yards and not have it pass through. That's just, I mean, that's up there with JFK and the magic bullet theory. That's up there with JFK. One shot, one kill from Oswald, even though JFK had multiple fatal wounds. And and you know something else here too? Let me put this out there. This is a well-known clip where it was being discussed all of the CIA's well-known assassination technologies. These are technologies that had already been used for some time already, and it was around a U.S. Senate testimony in 1975. And this is on the heart attack gun. So just watch this for a second, then we'll continue on with our talk.
Also, I had to find, one time they wanted me to find out if there was such a thing as a poison that was undetectable, especially one that seemed to mimic a heart attack, that would kill someone, but it would appear that they had a heart attack. I did find such a thing.
Does this pistol fire the dart?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman, and a special one was developed which potentially would be able to enter the target without perception.
The poison was frozen into some sort of dart, and then it was shot at very high speed into the person. So when it reached the person, it would melt inside them, and the only thing would be like one little tiny red dot on their body, which was hard to detect. There wouldn't be a needle left or anything like that in the person.
But also the toxin itself would not appear in the autopsy?
Yes, so that there was no way of perceiving that the target was him.
So the reason why I bring this up is, and remember, this is a bonus broadcast we're doing tonight. We haven't spoken about this in a while. I'm watching a lot of the same things you guys are watching, and I figured we will have a call-in night, because these are just things that I've been seeing. These are questions I've been asking. I'm sure that there is a lot of different takes in the chat rooms, across all the chat rooms right now. Whenever I think something makes sense, somebody comes over and, oh, no, you're looking at the wrong thing. It was an exploding microphone, or it was something from this, it came from here. So I know how varied this is. And perhaps there are some of you out there who still believe that the shot from the front is the most likely thing, and that there is some anatomical and ballistics-based reason why it did not pass through the neck completely. So the lines are going to be open pretty soon. But the reason why I bring this up is because this is why I believe ultimately, no matter what's going on here, that the highest value gained by the entire assassination was to traumatize and confuse the public. That was the highest value. That's what was taken out of this to the greatest degree. Because if they just wanted Charlie dead, they could have poisoned his dinner that night, or the good old heart attack gun. They could have done that. But the perps, I believe, I believe they know that there is just there's a contingent within the population who would find various pieces of evidence that would at the very least disprove the official story. That would blow the whole thing up, that would make the whole thing unable to stand. Regardless of what the actual full truth is, we are not getting the whole picture. And they know that there's no way to get everybody on the same page. They know that the best job that they can do at this point is a sloppy job. But they go ahead with it anyway because the trauma value of the blood ritual itself was so strong, number one. And because society is so polarized that we'd be caught up in spectacle, to be able to do anything significant with the intel. And that's what everybody's wondering right now. Is there going to be any way for anything significant to be done with the intel? And here, and like I said, when you think about all the things that don't make sense, and all the ways that the pieces are being arranged, looking at Jimmy Kimmel and the people who get in on that, and the people who are still, beating their chest and they become even more and more lamentable creatures. They really do, because even if you don't like this guy, this is a huge question to be asked. What was the operation to take him out? What was that really all about? What was it? Who did it? Why? Because it goes so far beyond everybody's, low rung on the ladder, the political motivation theories. It's just crazy. Now, the only mystery left for me, real mystery left for me, and I wonder if we're ever going to get this, is the understanding of the role of the patsy, the role of the kid that we've been given, Tyler Robinson. I wonder if we're ever going to really put that together. When I say that, I mean, what level of entrapment, what's the level of sedation he's under right now? I know we were very early on told about some kind of a suicide watch or whatever. Very strange appearance on a video stream when being confronted, or I don't know if that was a video arraignment. Very strange there, where sometimes it looked like it was a still image, not really responding to anything, staring off. We obviously have fake chat transcripts, so there's that. That doesn't make any sense. So I wonder. And now listen, after we come back from the break, the halfway break, I have the Candace Owens Instagram story that was released today, that we have to throw that into the mix. I've got a voicemail that's already been put in. I want to read all of your super chats. But for now, I'm going to leave the lines open because we have about 24 minutes until that break, and I want to hear from you. It's 914-200-0269. I just want to know. I want to know what the hell you think. I mean, it's Friday night. Call in with whatever you want, but this is something that is not been left alone. The internet is not the place where things usually are left alone. It's the media and the masters that they serve that like walking away after a couple of days, when all of the things have been said and all of the statements have been made, and they just kind of like walk away. But the internet doesn't walk away, and I'm sure that wherever you've been hanging out, you have seen more digging into this, and I want to see what the hell you came up with. 813, you're on the air. Welcome to Friday.
Hey, Frank, this is Cloud9.
Hey, Cloud9, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say my whole take on it is still developing. I would say so far what we've gotten from the plausible deniability aspect, I could understand sort of this patsy arraignment, especially when you're talking about a 30-06 going through Charlie's neck, allegedly. But I don't know if you've seen videos of veterans or gun YouTubers using that exact same model and shooting it at a ballistics gel dummy with a full spine and skull attached. And when the 30-06 goes through the neck, it blows the head clean off. So some are speculating that, well, especially in the veteran community, that with a 30-06, it's pretty much virtually going to decapitate someone. Whereas what we saw today, or I'm sorry, what we saw 2 weeks ago was just apparently lodged in the neck and only caused just a blood gush. So that's kind of, let's go ahead.
No, I'm and listen, I am not the guy to go to talk about this stuff, but I've fired Matt's 30-06 quite a few times, and of course we have a 22 and some shotguns and stuff like that. But the only time I've ever been around and handled a weapon like that with that kind of a round, with the limited knowledge and experience I had, it's just like, you got to be kidding me. I don't get it.
Right. And then another thing on top of that is, I think this question still remains unanswered for me, because this was talked about on several podcasts, including Rogan. It's essentially, how is he able to, after he fires the shot, run down the building. Allegedly, he has to disassemble the gun and put it into his backpack. And then we see that video of him jumping off of the building, and then he runs off camera. And at this point, we're supposed to believe that he reassembles the firearm and then wraps it in a towel and then puts it behind, some shrubbery around a tree for the feds to catch later. So that's another question that I would have. But at the same time, though, like, I'm juggling this narrative because the narrative makes sense. The motive would make sense for Tyler Robinson doing what he did, which was him being this, Reddit loser who is apparently gay and has vengeance out for Charlie being against transgender ideology. So that motive makes sense, but at the same time, though, I could understand why it would be a good scapegoat to get your, conservative base distracted from potentially another type of shooter or whatever you want to say. Like, I don't know all of the different theories out there, but, I've heard my fair bit. I would say, like, overall, though, the question I would have is 30-06, was it the type of gun that was used? Because the type of bullet that would be used to go into a 30-06 would blow someone's head off. And then also the motive makes sense, but then the video that we're seeing, we don't see the 30-06 in his hand, so we have to assume that he disassembled it already.
Oh, yeah,
in his backpack.
We get it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that really is the loop that everybody's in right now. These things, the turn of events and the chronological order in which they happen just don't make any sense. And then it also calls a lot of crazy attention to the FBI transcripts that we were all given that essentially exists to support in ridiculous amounts of detail the official story. It makes no sense. But Cloud,
I've heard of that when it comes to the transcript. That I've heard some speculate that it could be scripted Chat GPT on Tyler Robinson's side, where he figures that he's going to be caught eventually. And so him and his boyfriend come up with this script. And the reason it sounds so off, using specific types of language and words that someone who's 22 years old probably wouldn't say unless they're running through some type of Chat GPT AI algorithm to make it seem more formulaic and kind of resembling real life dialogue between, someone on Discord. But that's something I've heard.
Hey, well, it's not authentic, so that's all that matters. Thank you so much for the call, basically. Cloud9. Have a good one. Yeah, of course. Well, he cut himself off. That wasn't me. That's if it's not authentic, then that's all you need. Then you say, all right, okay, so we're all on the same page. There's bullshit going on here. Let's take a call. 602, go ahead.
Hey, Frank.
Yo, who's this?
This is Corey, Phoenix Enigma, Arizona. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? It's funny. I was actually just about to text you because I'm going to be going on a break in about 15 minutes, and I was going to see if you can just call in on phone and talk about some of the now. Okay, but to hell with it. You're here. We have a couple of minutes.
Let's do it.
So you did, and not only did you get in touch with me, but I've had several other people get in touch with me. In fact, I see a Rumble rant that just came in from Merlin Marvel that said, Frank, Corey at the Phoenix Enigma did a de-occulting that is unsettling. Highly recommend checking it out. Now, you de-occulted. It's been a long time since you've been on this show to do a de-occulting of a public event, and I just wondered what can you give us? Like, what are some of the liner notes that you can give us on this?
Well, my original de-occulting was a 4-hour-long video.
Oh,
I'm going
boy.
to make a condensed, 30-minute video of it so people can watch it without having to obviously go through all that. They ain't got time. But there's quite a bit there, from the numerology to the similitudes to the phases of the moon, the lunar craft. And before people go, oh, that's just all a bunch of, witchcraft and blah, 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 it actually ties. It all ties straight back to the Kabbalah, and I tie the Kabbalah back to the moon phases, which is huge in Kabbalistic practicing, and I tie it back to all of Netanyahu's mystic advisors. I label their names and the significant events that happened in Jewish and not only Jewish, but specifically Israeli history on those specific dates. To the date, I'm sorry, well, the date itself, but to where it was actually where it happened at Orm University in that irregular pentagon that looks like a menorah, to the 555, five sides, the pentagon 5 layers high with 5 levels deep and 5-sided, 125, and the shot was from 125 meters. It goes on and on and on and on, man. I'll tell you the big one here. You had me on for the Isaac Cappy stuff back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Do you recall all that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Isaac.
And let me also just say, Corey, the reason why I love doing de-occulting and I love talking. You and I have some really good stuff in the bank from years ago, and also I'll bring friends like Ryan Gable on to do stuff like this here too. I love hearing about the numbers and the synchronicity there, because whether or not people whatever the hell they feel it is, if they think it's witchcraft or neo-paganism or whatever, the real thing is that there are forces out there in the world who pay very special attention to this stuff, and they actually plot their operations based on it. And to understand that is to understand why it happens in such mechanical ways.
Bingo, Frank. You just nailed it, man. You just nailed it. Just because people out there have their religions that they believe, the religions that have been given to them, provided to them by these people in charge of these systems, they have presupposed opinions about witchcraft or about magic, when in essence what you and I are doing right now, not to get hyper philosophical, but I have a thought in my head and I'm compressing air in my throat and I am articulating it out through a language that we both agree upon means certain things, and it goes over from my microphone into your ear, and now my thought is your thought instantaneously in this world. That is magic, Frank. That is real magic. When you're lining up.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was the magic. That was I swear to God. You guys saw my hands. Or maybe you didn't. They were in my lap. I didn't. He must have cut himself off. What the hell was that? Yo. Please don't scare me tonight. I don't want to be scared tonight. Why hasn't he called back yet? Does he know? Please make him call back. Then I'll know everything's okay. Hold on. Who called before? Is this him? Corey?
No, Frank.
Oh, shit.
It's that crazy lady again. I'm going to get right off because Corey it's not a coincidence, synchronicity, what he was saying, magic, but the Lord works the same way, and it's occult.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Just let me say Proverbs 3:5. Acknowledge Him in all your ways. Rely not on your own understanding. Go look up Proverbs 3:5. I get nervous with you, Frank. Don't be nervous.
Don't be nervous. Let me see if this is Corey though. Thank you for the call. Hold on. That was Corey. Yo, I can hear you breathing.
This is not Corey.
Okay, well, go ahead, breathing man.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. This is Matt from PA.
Hey, what's going on, Matt? What the hell?
Not much.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've just been having some thoughts that I think it's possible that he could be the legitimate shooter. There was this one close video that I saw of this guy analyzing the video that looked like Charlie Kirk wore maybe a bulletproof vest or some kind of body armor, and that the bullet deflected up and hit him in his I guess neck, and that's possibly why there wasn't an exit wound.
Yeah.
And also I heard that this one other guy, an ex-FBI agent, was saying that the text could be legitimate because of the fact that Tyler Robinson was very into like gaming and stuff like that he may have talked in like a certain way to almost like mimic that kind of style.
Well, I mean, it could maybe, but again, I guess that's one of the advantages of having an absolute nobody be your guy on the hill, because perhaps he did use phrases like, I have to go back and claim my vehicle before my old man drop points this. Very strange shit. Hold on. Let me thank you so much for the call. And yeah, that's another example right there of, I've heard that was one of the earlier ones. Chest protector, body armor, deflection. And then somebody came out and said there was no body armor. So what the hell happened to Corey? That's freaky. 912, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Frank. Wasn't expecting to get you. Let me put you on mute here.
Yes.
Okay, it's Steve from Savannah, Georgia. Why are we still talking about a 30-06?
What was it?
I mean, it's just everybody keeps talking about 30-06 was like it's a settled fact that was the weapon.
Yeah, but no, but it's not about getting, this is the way it was. That is what has been pronounced. This is the pronouncement being made. This is what struck Charlie Kirk in the neck, which is why people are like, are you serious? Are you sure?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you heard the theory of the microphone that he had on his neck? Have you seen that?
Yes. And that's what I just got today. And I'll tell you, this is the loop that we're in. The second you start feeling a little bit more comfortable with a new point of view on a specific situation like this, like, okay, this theory satisfies my question as to why there was nothing that passed through and came back, and where the blood splatter was and all that other stuff. This satisfies my theory because I know that this bullet was not getting stuck in his throat, so perhaps that was an exit wound. And as soon as you start getting a little bit more comfortable with that, and you're seeing how all of that starts reconciling a little bit better, is when somebody contacts you and says, hey, you've been watching the whole thing wrong the whole time. It was an exploding microphone. And I said, oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I watched that, and who knows if even the original footage is even on the internet anymore. Quite honestly, who knows if that's been completely wiped and reconstructed? I mean, we don't know what the hell's possible. But I watched it like the day of, like a couple hours afterwards. So I got the news and I went and watched it. It grossed me out, but I watched it and over. And first of all, when you see a head injury, go watch any kind of head injury in football, any kind of head-related injury. Their arms stiffen, and they just like his body stiffened. His arms shot out like it was a head injury. And I saw, maybe I'm just seeing things because I've watched it over and over. A little pin, like a little hole, something dark, right, not directly on his temple, but in that area, on his right side. Like it came from above to the right, and that would have easily been an exit wound, not necessarily from a 30-06. Now, I haven't gone back and watched it again, and who even knows if I was seeing the wrong thing. But that day, I was telling my buddies, like, look, man, that was an inch wound. Watch it. I was like, watch it. You can see the top right temple, just behind it, just above it. And then the exit wound is how I saw it. And I was telling all my buddies, like, look, watch this. I was like, watch it. That's the angle. The shooter was to his right. But who knows? I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves here or, it's the fog of war. But what we're getting right now is just it doesn't make any sense.
Well, thank you for the call. I think you mirror what a lot of people are thinking right now. It's a great call. And I just say, again, like I said, that this is something where it's no doubt about it. the highest value gained from the assault was to traumatize and confuse the public. And we are definitely in a state of confusion right now. People are clinging to miracle theories, even though we saw a young father get killed. But there's a silver lining. His neck caught the bullet. Where it caught the bullet and prevented somebody else from getting hurt. When in Butler, it was a miracle that Donald Trump didn't get killed, but somebody else did. Now, I know people weren't saying it's a miracle somebody else did, but you just say like, there's still life that hangs in the balance. And I was like, no, you got to be a little bit less emotional about this and try to figure out what the hell's going on. And that's why all the media stuff and the censorship and the taunting back and forth is crazy. That's what all this is playing on. It plays on all this. You know, this would be just as scary for a leftist to really dig into. But they're way too comfortable, and it just serves them better to be able to say, well, you know, the right wing, like this, that typewriter draw freak Destiny said, the right wing needs to turn down the temperature, or else this is going to continue to happen. This is all their fault. They brought it on themselves. That's easier. That puts them in a seat of comfortable power in the narrative. But there's so much stuff going on now. I've texted Corey. I texted Corey. Say, yo, man, you all right? And I've gotten nothing back. So let's keep going. 813, go ahead.
Holy shit, is this Frank?
Yes, who's this?
This is Kyle. I'm Special K in your YouTube chat. This is my first time calling, been listening to you forever.
Hey, man. I know.
You're like you're my Art Bell.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a very high compliment. I hope I never let you down. But Special K, that's
Dude, I can't believe I got through. This is my first time calling ever. This is crazy.
Dude, you know that you could have done this a long time ago. It's actually rather easy to get through.
Well, now I know. I'll keep that in mind. Dude, I just wanted to bring this up because, dude, we're going through different, Charlie Kirk theories. Every other week, it's something different, or every day. Have you seen this snake eyes theory?
Okay, so
that's going around
now. The snake eyes synchronicity, the predictive programming. Yes. Okay, so I have something on that. I was going to do a little joy scrolling in the second half, and
okay. Again, I don't want to make you pull anything up, but this decoding with Cody, I never heard of this guy. I'm not trying to promote him or anything, but he was he just popped up in my feed a couple days ago. Kind of broke down the whole thing, and it is insane.
It is insane, but what I'll tell you is we'll watch a little something on it tonight, and of course, anybody wants to call in about it, that's you can. I had somebody in the audience send me a calculation that they had done with the help of ChatGPT, and what they had calculated is all of the probabilities, the probability that this could match up so well. And I believe the mathematical probabilities of all these synchronicities coming to fruition and all the connections being made was like something like 1 in 3 trillion. And immediately what I did was I got in touch with Christopher Knowles. And I said, hey, Chris, would you like to come back on the show? I think he's coming back on the show on about a month from now. That'll be October 28th or 29th. And I wanted to do predictive programming with him because he's done tons of things like that outside of this now new thing of legend, which is the Nicolas Cage Snake Eyes comparison. So we'll definitely be able to do it then. But in the meantime, I have a little something here, and yeah, you're more than willing to bring it up.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was crazy, and I don't want to spend 20 minutes going down the list of things, but it's just so crazy. All the just the fact that the guy that got shot in the movie is named Charlie Kirk, You know, the boxer is named Tyler the Executioner. You know, the fact that there's been debates about the date of the movie, but supposedly on the poster, I got to rewatch it. But it says September 10th is the night the movie takes place. It takes place, half of the movie takes place in like a Trump hotel. You know, like it's got the beautiful woman in a white satin dress that's at the center of it all. Like, it's just really crazy.
You know what, we'll do that in a little bit, and I'm going to take a really quick break so I can try to find Corey Daniel. Maybe I can get a couple more minutes with him in the second half, and then we can go into stuff like this. Thanks for the call. Hey, Special K, make it a point to do this again, brother.
I will. God bless. It's been awesome talking to you, man.
All right, take care. There you go. See, it wasn't that bad. About 140 people just met me for real a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't that scary. I wasn't scary, was I? Corey just got back to me. He's alive. What the hell's going on? Hold on. I'll call you on the other side of the break. There you go. We're producing a show together. I'm going to reserve my bigger thoughts on the woman in white. I don't know if that is a reference to Erica Kirk. I'm very sympathetic to men and women in her position. Horrible, especially with the children. That's been the hardest thing for me to think of this entire time. But there's something off. There's something off there too. And I know everybody deals with grief differently, and people are just built different. And perhaps what would keep me in a vegetative state for weeks on end, where I'm barely eating or showering or doing anything, would just like motivate someone like Erica Kirk to step into the light of TPUSA and start taking it and do all public appearances and stuff. And I don't know what I feel about it just yet, but something feels off. You say, well, listen, what's supposed to feel on? What's supposed to feel on about this? Everything's off. And you'd be right. I don't know. But I'll be back in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be taking your super chats. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of a call with Corey Daniels for a Phoenix Enigma de-occulting. At least, the Cliff Notes. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Intermission.
Yeah, Intermission.
Back to school. Well, here goes nothing.
All right, let's see here. Let me chill with the calls just for a second so we can get through these super chats so we don't lose too much. I want to get even with them. Max Meeks says, call me, Frank. You got it. Credit card.
You got it.
Dan Schumann. Wow. Thank you so much. Dan, that's wonderful of you, man. I remember Dan. That's actually how I met Dan Schumann. It's through incredible super chats like this on YouTube years ago. He's been around for a while. Thank you. Have a great weekend with your family. You deserve it, says Dan. Well, you're the man. Thank you so much, sir. Anonymous says, risk it for a biscuit. Star Karma says, I have a stellar show. Oh, have a stellar show, Frank, and I wouldn't mind if that basket of copper. Enjoy being in nature with your family. Nature is therapy. Well, I added you to the names over here, including Dan Schumann and Max Meeks over the course of the break. I added you guys there with everybody else. The couple of the few dozen names from the rest of the week. Leasebreaker says, dropping my name in the hat and putting my socks on the fox. Thank you, Leasebreaker. Katie Sky says, clearly this administration is covering up the fact that Charlie was shot from his right, and they are blatantly trying to shove the story down our throats. I'm not sure why, but regardless, we have to think about how Jesus would want us to handle it. And also, why in the world did they remove every brick and the entire physical being of the area where the assassination took place like 2 days later? Wouldn't they want to preserve the evidence? Like I said, you would think they want to preserve the evidence of the Georgia Guidestones after it was blown to bits. A dynamite attack. That you would think that somebody would be held accountable for that. Let's see. You know, there was a couple last night that I didn't see until afterwards. Kelly Silva. Thank you so much, Kelly Silva, for rounding out last night's show. Frogs in the Pot says, thank you, Frank. Paul says, hey, Frank, thanks for another incredible week. I know Linda Love says, Fasciagate is real. Happy to know I've been on the right healing path. Great show. And then Nurse Betty, I'm sorry, Nurse Betty, I hadn't seen this. Doing round 3 of IVF and requesting more prayers, good vibes and positive thoughts. We'll take them all. Praying for multiples. For more show watchers. Yes. Yes. Nurse Betty, all the best to you, Nurse Betty. I hope you all have many children. Jay Britt says, it was the guy on the grassy knoll. Great discussion tonight. It wasn't me. I'm really just I'm at a loss. And not to think that we're ever going to say, got it. But as long as every once in a while I can let you know, hey guys, I'm confused. But I'll tell you what I've been thinking. And I like what comes back. All right, over on Rumble, let me see what else we have over there. So we got that message about Corey, which I'm going to call him back in a second. Captain Wiggles says, just because. Well, thank you, Captain Wiggles. And Wiggles again says, oh, I have something. What do we feel about Andrew? Looks like the villain from Titanic. Just saying. Andrew who? What do we feel about Andrew? Who's Andrew? Jay Semo says, have a great weekend, Frank. Thank you, Jay. Wonderful. Golden Crisp on quitefrankly.tv, that is the gold pills on pill.net, says, just because it's been a good Friday for me at least. I appreciate you. Thank you. Las Vegas Patriot says, the red flag for me was Erica filming the casket in his hand the next day. Her whispering speech seemed like an act as well. The speech I was not very moved. I hate to say it. I was not very moved by what little I watched of the speech on Sunday. And it was the pauses, it was the whispering, it was the glaring. And it would be hard for me to speak. I would be mad as hell, but there was too much. I don't know. It is an unnatural situation, and perhaps this is the difference between me and her. But something didn't feel right. Let's see. Thank you for that. Let's go, and here is a voicemail. Let's go to this voice note. We got one from Problematic Todd. This just came in, and then I would like to call up Corey Daniel.
Hey, Frank, this is Problematic Todd. I know you're going to be talking about the new Grassy Knoll on your show tonight, so I wanted to add something. A lot of people are talking about this Nicolas Cage movie from 1997 or 98 called Snake Eyes, where the plot of the movie is a politician named Charles Kirkland, i.e. Charlie Kirk, was assassinated in a public arena, shot through the neck. It was at a boxing match that took place on September 10th, which is the same date, of course. There's a boxer in the movie named Lincoln Tyler, as in Tyler Robinson, who takes a fall to provide cover for the assassin. He takes a fall, i.e., being a patsy, taking the fall. And in Masonic language, the term Tyler, if you Google it, refers to an office or outer guard of a Masonic lodge. So we have Tyler, who is a patsy taking a fall, and also standing guard for the Masonic order. Very strange stuff, Frank. What to make of it, God only knows.
See, that's the point. That's the whole thing there. Okay, hold on. What to make of it, God only knows. There's one thing to say, so-and-so killed my brother on this date, and therefore I'm going to commemorate that crime against me by taking one of their gang out on that date as well. So there's a meaning by that date. I understand people get very they get very sentimental about things, and they pay attention to birthdays, death days, phases of the moon, whatever. But when you start getting into this, like, what does that mean? It doesn't take away from the mysteriousness of it all. Like, what the are you telling? Like, again, like I said, I don't know how accurate it is, but somebody said that they sent it over to me, and I have it in a folder ready for the night that I have Christopher Knowles on the show. But if I have, Ryan Gable on, I'm sure Ryan Gable will go into something like this too. 1 in 3.4 trillion is the the chances of all this lining up. Is it really that much of a lottery, or was it really that painstakingly taken into that's painstaking consideration just to be able to take somebody out? Like, why? And not only that, but Snake Eyes came out when Charlie Kirk was 5. You know what I mean? Like, what? You weren't planning for this. You weren't planning for this. And how do you? So I don't know. Let me call Corey back. Here we go.
Oh, Frank.
Hey, Corey. Okay, so we got 10 minutes or so that are set aside right now. I want to just hit us with all of the mind-blowing synchronicity that's going on right now.
All right. I'm going to start with
and whenever and also let me say, whenever you get the 30-minute breakdown completed, just send me the link and I'll share it around my networks.
Cool. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
All right. First of all, I did a de-occulting on Isaac Cappy. My wife was friends with Isaac Cappy. That's how I got into the investigation. During the investigation, I found out, work with numerology and being a de-occultist. I went to the first time Isaac Cappy ever spoke out about Green, Claire, Tom Hanks, and Spielberg, and it was in a Periscope on July 22nd at 1:33 in the afternoon at the Comic-Con event in San Diego, where he went live. All right. That being said, he died on May 13th at 7:22 in the morning. So May 13th is the 133rd day of the year. So again, on 7:22 at 1:33 in the afternoon, he went live and for the first time started talking about Seth Green. He died on the 133rd day of the year at 7:22 in the morning. So I'm going to see if I can apply this formula to Kirk. And sure shit, Charlie Kirk, first, you guys can go to Grok or wherever you want on this. The first time he ever talked about negatively about Netanyahu and Israel was on October 12th, 2023 on the Valuetainment Patrick Bet David show. I'm sure we've all seen those clips by now. During that show at the 2-minute and 53-second mark in the show, he begins talking about Israel. And then later in the show, at 28 minutes in the show, which is 9 hours and 28 minutes into the day, he begins really getting into the Israeli stuff and the genocide and stuff. Okay. So you take that formula, and right there we got at October 12th, 2023, Kirk got shot at 12:23. So 12:23 during the time. So that date lines up with the time he got shot. Then you take the time he started talking about this. September 10th is the 253rd day of the year. That's when he first started talking about it. And then also at 9:28 in the day, or 28 minutes into that show, because it started at 9 a.m. New York time. 28 minutes into, they really got into that topic. 9:28, 2 + 8 is 10. That's 9:10. So the time and the date of Charlie Kirk's death is a direct reversal of the time and the date of the first time he came out and spoke about Israel. That same exact thing applies to Isaac Cappy's death.
But Corey, there's a question, an open-ended question I just asked before I called you back, and that was, now here we are, whether it's the last two the call I got and then the voicemail I received about the list of crazy synchronicities that are being found in the movie Snake Eyes, which of course came out 5 years after Charlie Kirk was born. So, we
talk about that.
So this is the one I'm talking about. Like, what is the benefit? Who would go to such painstaking? What's the benefit of going to such painstaking lengths to hit up these crazy numerical factoids, and just to be able to eliminate somebody that was seen as a problem or something? Like, who really benefits from that? Obviously, it's a secret language. It's not meant for us to really see. When we start putting it all together, that's like we pat ourselves on the back for de-occulting it, taking it from what was hidden and bringing it to the light. But what's the benefit? Do you have an idea?
So I don't think it's a secret language. It's a secret navigation. We are assuming in your question that somebody is doing this, where the answer could very well be, and I don't have this answer, but all we can do is guess, because we don't have this higher access to this higher occulted knowledge at our level here. I'm sure people do. Some people know. The rich and the powerful and the kings do, and the presidents and the prime ministers and those who run this world do. There's a secret religion beneath religions. There are secret countries behind the countries, and I think we're starting to wake up to that this year here. But it could very well be that this is just the mechanics of the universe, and things are patternized in this universe intrinsically. And we're just now to the point where we have computers and technology, and these patterns are becoming exoteric as opposed to esoteric within our frame of reference as the plebs down here, as the serfs, because we have this technology. And that's why you're seeing such rapid shifts in technology in nations. All the old nations of Europe are going back to their old roots, from Iran to China to Russia. Things are changing rapidly, and they can't contain what we are able to figure out. Like, for instance, right now, the Charlie Kirk thing, they wouldn't have been able to. They would have gotten away with this back in 1963. They did with JFK. They can't do this now, and they're thinking that they are. It could, to answer your question, Frank, it could very well be that these synchronicities are just laid out in the fabric of what we call reality. For 3 + 1, 3 directions, and then time being the fourth dimension.
Well, here, let me put this out there. A friend of mine, Lindsay Sharman. Do you know Lindsay?
I do not.
Lindsay's fantastic. In fact, I'm doing a film club stream with her after this show ends at 9:00. But I see that a day ago, she commented on this Instagram reel about all of these crazy, these points between Charlie Kirk's death and the 1998 movie Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. Yeah. And Lindsay said this. She said, this happens because everyone is psychic, and massive mass consciousness events ripple through time and space, not because things are pre-planned, even though many events are pre-planned. So is this one of those situations where we're just talking about human intention and manifestation is always a part of what this is, not necessarily that in order to take out Charlie Kirk, everybody needed to be able to get the hand of every clock aligned and synchronized to be able to make this cash in or something like that?
I mean, could it be? I mean, that theory is as good as any other one, and that's kind of the direction that I lean in, because I've been doing this for a long time, Frank, a long time. And what I find with all of these de-occultings that I do, from the Florida shooting to the one down in Texas, the Uvalde, my God, the Uvalde one. I got a 30-page write-up on that on my website as well. That is just unbelievable. These things, and that is biblical as well, but yeah, I think it is. Can I give you one more here?
Yeah, go. Yeah,
listeners haven't found that no one's talked about yet that I found here. You mentioned that Charlie was born, 5 years after that movie, or 5 years before that movie came out, right? He was born in 1993, so he was 5 years old when the movie came out. Get this here, man. The Israeli Prime Minister Rabin and Foreign Minister Shimon Peres, they shared the Nobel Peace Prize with Yasser Arafat over the signing of the Oslo Accords, okay, back in the day. Rabin was assassinated on November 4th, 1995 by a right-wing Israeli extremist in what's now known as Rabin Square, okay? Different factions within the Israeli government, or factions on the periphery that the government wouldn't claim, the extremist wing, had him assassinated. They shot him 3 times in the back, okay, after signing those peace accords. Now get this. The Oslo Accords were signed September 13th, 1993. Charlie Kirk was born October 14th, 1993. That is 31 days after the Oslo Accords, Charlie Kirk was born. Charlie Kirk died at 31 years old. Rabin was shot in the back 3 times, giving a speech in a public square. And he was fighting for peace accords and peace and no more war with Palestine. Charlie Kirk was shot in a public Pentagon, a regular Pentagon at the UVU, while he had been in the process, not right to that point acutely, but previously stepping away from Israel. There's something I texted you earlier we haven't touched on yet. I'm trying to decide how to say this without exposing sources, because it would expose myself, and people are getting killed at this point. It's dangerous, but it's important. It's the night of Charlie's death. How do I say this? People that I'm affiliated with and work with and know Charlie's team in Phoenix, Scottsdale. They work with, that I'm ancillarily involved with politics in Maricopa County because I'm from Phoenix. They reached out, and I reached out to them and said, dude, like on the 11th, I said, have you reached out to Charlie's team? And they're like, yeah, we did last night. I said, and they said, they believe it was the Mossad. They believe it was Israel. That was like day one. That was 7 hours after it. That was coming out of Charlie Kirk's team. I'm telling you that here and now.
That's a big piece of information right there.
Yeah, it is. And I said that on the show the other night as well. But let me ask you about that, because I know what's been put out there about there was a big offer of to inject money into TPUSA that was rejected, and that you brought up the Patrick Bet-David appearance last year or whatever, where there was skepticism about security lapses around October 7th with Hamas and all that. I mean, it's very, it's not like unconditional. He wasn't showing the last 2 years unconditional loyalty. He picked and chose his times to show skepticism and doubt and a little bit more independence in thought, but it wasn't like he went full on Candace Owens. What the hell? Publicly he didn't.
Publicly he didn't.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, he was jumping off full bore.
That's the word. That's the word we got. That being said, Charlie was going to run for Congress or Senate, whatever he could get into. They were going to move him up here. And here's why. Here's the why Charlie was killed, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion as they're waking up to this. Charlie would have run for Congress and Senate, governor, and eventually he would have been a candidate for the president of the United States. He was 31 years old. You'll be 35 when you run. He was getting primed up. He was the leader of the largest evangelical Zionist group and evangelicals that weren't Zionists, because a lot of Christians don't really get into Zionism. They're not millennial dispensationalists. But he was slated for high office. And we know he was slated for high office because of his wife. And the more I look into her, and I got other researchers out there contacting me, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Her father was an Israeli arms dealer before he retired. Okay. I can see in hindsight right now, Frank, I can see how somebody said, hey, you got a pretty daughter, right? Yeah. Okay. Didn't Trump, didn't she just win that, Miss Arizona, beauty pageant over there, the Miss America Arizona beauty pageant? Yeah, that was Trump's pageant, right? Yeah, she's a good looking girl. She's from a good family, and her dad's an Israeli arms dealer already. Why don't we see if we can match her up with somebody and put together a dream team, a candidate, and we can fund this group. We can fund this team through our programs, through our donors, through this. This is how politics is done. This is how candidates are made. People just don't step forward. They are decided upon for their optics, for their feasibility, for their speaking qualities, for their family name, where they come from, and they are built, and then they are sold to us, and they are funded. I think Eric's family used her, like many other ones, like be it the Bushes or the Clintons. I mean, Bill Clinton wasn't no prize. It was Hillary that was the brains of that operation, and you can look at that now in hindsight and go, oh, well, we can see how he grabbed him. He was charismatic, but she had the connections. Ghislaine Maxwell had all the connections. Her father was the Mossad arms dealer for MI6 and CIA, all that stuff. And she was the one who came in and started working with Jeffrey Epstein and building all that up as the actual social networker. So I can very well see how this was not like sitting around in dark rooms with cigars smoking, but just as a matter of business, as everyday business. Hey, you got a pretty daughter. Trump's already involved because, she won Trump's pageant that year. And they were putting together this dream team. And when Charlie started talking against Israel, against the Zionist agenda, they couldn't have that because of what that meant. Not only that, Charlie would have given any of Trump's kids a run for their money, right? Especially after this administration, what Israel's about to go ham on. They're going to, the midterms looking pretty rough for the Republican Party. It would take an evangelical independent to come in with an already strong following, and that was Charlie Kirk. Well,
Corey, just remember, just send me over the 30-minute breakdown. I'd like to watch the entire thing. It's funny how this all just happened tonight, and I'm glad we got you on the air for a little bit. It's been a while since we even spoke, but thank you for this, and make sure you send me that link when it's done. Okay?
You got it, brother.
Yeah, thanks for everything. That's Corey Daniel, Phoenix Enigma. Are you still on YouTube? I know that you're live on D Live. I see you elsewhere too, but where are you at still?
We're on D Live, Rumble, Rockfin, X, and BitChute. I'm going to fire up now that we got that thing. I guess the band's lifted over there at YouTube. I'm going to see if I can get back on.
All right, man. Well, listen, have a good one. Thanks for the call.
All right, brother.
All right.
Peace out.
Yeah. A lot to think about. I'm sure a lot of you have already been thinking about all. If you've been poking around, you've seen it all. I've heard all that stuff in different places. I've seen it arranged in different ways. And so it didn't surprise me. We will see what you think. All right. Okay. Let me get to giving away this basket, because that's fun. Giving things away is fun. And, I need some fun right now before we get into some other things. Hold on. Take a look at this. So this is what we got. The Electroculture basket. Whole bunch of copper, a how-to practical guide. You get the trowels. You got all the Cultivate Elevate stuff. You've got wonderful, the LDM 100 that you're going to get for whoever wins this. Jane Barlow stuff that you have no clue what kind of a powerful weapon you have for your medicine cabinet over cold and flu season or anywhere else. So that's what we got here. Spool of copper wire and other, quite frankly, affiliate surprises inside. The value of the basket, over $150 easily. So let us see who has won. We've got 78 names on the list right now, and I've gotten you all up until 5 minutes ago. Here we go. Are you ready? Drum roll. It is JMARJRN89, Jamardrin. I think that was a Jamardrin 89. Jamardrin. That was from YouTube, I think on Monday or Tuesday night. JMARJRN89. JMARJRN. Well, get in touch with me. You have to go quite frankly at quitefranklypodcast@gmail.com or frank@quitefrankly.tv. Get in touch with me quick because I want to send this out to you this weekend. And if you don't get in touch with me quick, I'm giving it away again on Monday based on all the names I just collected, because this cannot be in my possession by the time we leave next weekend. It's got to go. So congratulations, my friend, and thank you all so much for being involved with this. Listen, I have more baskets, fun stuff to give away, and things over here, and nightly raffles, weekly stuff. Hell, all right. Let's see. Let's go over here. So here's the big thing that I'll throw into the mix now. I mentioned Candace Owens before. If you're on Instagram, you saw this today. This was on her stories. Here's what she said. I want to break this news immediately because it feels important, and I think if I don't break it immediately, something bad might happen. I hope I have earned the trust enough of the people to believe me when I say that I have verified this information but cannot reveal the source. Tyler Robinson is not suicidal. The entire narrative that was placed in the media about him having been suicidal is completely fictional, as are many other aspects of what we've been told. His father turned him in after a confession is also complete fiction. To the contrary, Tyler Robinson maintains his innocence and has never even been to the UVU campus. There are absolutely zero photos or video that the campus can produce to the contrary, which is why they have produced nothing other than a blurry image, which Tyler's family knows is not him. Tyler has never once expressed a suicidal thought. I want to make that clear. The federal government is lying about absolutely everything. And other than that, the fact is that it is his gun. Other than the fact that it is his gun, everything else is a lie, according to Candace Owens. Not that we needed any further substantiation, but Tyler Robinson did not author those Discord messages. I would like to again stress that he has never been to the UVU campus, but, and I need to confirm this later, I believe he was around the campus on that day. I will have more on this later, but I wanted to immediately publish a Tyler Robinson suicide narrative. Plus, the dad did the right thing after realizing his son was guilty is a federal concoction. And again, if something like this, if anything is off, who's pushing the story? Who has the authority to push the story? And how authentic is the story that is being pushed by the authority? If any of that is verifiably bonkers, that makes no sense, then you have to suspect the authority is in some way in on it, or involved, or in the know, something. And then it makes you wonder how high up it goes and why. Now, what Corey Daniel was just talking about right there, that is a pretty big why. I mean, you're talking about projecting into the future. What is the political future in this country? What is the political future in this country? Who is most viable? Who is the most valuable to the upcoming generations? And what message is going to resonate the most? And who's going to be more easily controllable of those people? And who needs to be done away with? That's a pretty compelling story, and you can see a whole lot of motive that makes sense. But like I said before, the only mystery left for me, if I'm thinking about the range day bro analysis of trajectory and ballistics, which you can watch on the Interesting Shite playlist on my YouTube. It's one of the last ones there. You can watch it for yourself. It's not too graphic, but to at least see what he said. There's like 5 million views on it. Millions and millions of views. It's pretty interesting that's even been left up there. I mean, listen, everything is suspicious. But after watching that, again, I said the only mystery left for me that has absolutely I don't have any workable theory, is the understanding of the role of the Tyler kid. His role, the level of how his image and likeness is being managed. That's what I mean. How is Tyler Robinson's image and likeness being managed? What level of entrapment we have going on here? What level of sedation is he under right now to be able to prevent him from making any declarations whenever he does have public time in front of a camera? If he's going to be allowed to say anything in a camera? How much of what we were shown on that court TV webcam footage was authentic to begin with? Where he kind of just like looks frozen and pixelated. It looks, who knows? Who knows? And then several people passing around Candace Owens and her stories today from Instagram. And there's a little insight onto what might be a viable theory about Tyler Robinson. So there's that. Damn, this was a deep show. We went. This for a Friday night, it's pretty heavy lifting. Fizzy lifting drinks. Okay, I get why even change the topic at this point? It is 8:35. I don't know. Nuts. Homegoy says, I noticed a mass effect. And that was no one wanted to see the shooting video. We programmed to look away now. Oh, I don't know about that. It was very hard to miss the shooting video. It wasn't so much a mass effect that people know what I wanted to see it, but I think that some people bounced off and said, I'm not going to subject myself to rerun, close-up, rerun, frame-by-frame analysis because you are on some kind of a sleuthing mission. Sometimes you see something once and that's it. What I said all throughout the Q years was, what the hell are do you think that you are going to be the one to slap the handcuffs on John Podesta? So there are people out there who want to know just to know, but there is also something that drives people from that standpoint, that others are just like, okay, you know what? Something's off about this. And me as an individual, I'm not going to change anything. And me watching this gore over and over again, it's not going to change anything either. So I understand if people don't want to watch it ad nauseum. But I don't know. That first day, it was very hard to not see it. Now, since then, I haven't seen that all. It used to be the first day. It made up like 50% of Twitter's total data capacity. So Safety Net says, please add my name to the list again. Oh, you were already on there, Lynn. You were already on there. You've been on there for like 4 days. Remember, I don't add duplicates. I make sure everybody has the same raffle chances. All right, here we go. 541, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Brother Frank, it is Zoso checking in.
Zo, how are you? You are a comforting voice on this kind of dark, dreary, mysterious night.
I got to tell you, man. This seems like, what did you say at the beginning of the show? You weren't actually planning on going tonight, but it just kind of worked out that way?
Yeah.
And look at the tremendous show that you pulled off tonight, man. This was just amazing. I'm glad you called. I got through just now because it allowed me to pull over and stop, because, man, there's a couple points I just want to make on this. I said to you that I I made it actually to the Charlie Kirk memorial the other day.
Yes,
which was pretty amazing. I mean, it was. I'm really thankful to be able to say that I went, and I did pay attention the entire time. So, everyone has their own opinions of different levels of how they took it in. But a couple that caller you just had, Phoenix. What is it, Phoenix?
Phoenix Enigma. Corey.
Phoenix, and I got to look him up. I concur with I've been really looking into this, Frank, since I woke up in 2004. I look at everything, and I just look at it till I can't look at it anymore. And I'm getting close on this one, but it brings me back. I know you're a fairly well-read individual. Have you heard of juvenile satires in your wanderings, in your readings?
Juvenile satires? No, I have not heard of that.
It's a collection of 16 poems written in the early 2nd century that offer scathing and I guess sometimes humorous critique of Roman society, right when Rome, which was the entire world at one time, was going to hell. And from that comes the famous quote. It's never really. If you have 2 seconds, let me read this.
Yeah.
For long ago, since we have sold our votes to no one, the people have lost all interest. For the people that once gave away military command, consulships, legions, everything, now restricts itself and anxiously desires only 2 things: bread and the circus games. And Frank, I'm telling you, bread and circuses is the only thing that has kept Americans today from not accepting stuff like this Charlie Kirk thing. If there's anything I've learned in the last 21 years since my awakening, it's that when a news cycle is just enveloped by a story like Charlie Kirk, you need to stand and turn 180 degrees the other way and look at what is really going on somewhere else, because this is a distraction of a major kind. I mean, there's not a whole lot of talk right now. Remember 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, when there was like 1.5 million people marching in the streets of Great Britain, and they said, a crowd of 100,000 gathered. No one is talking about the fact that the French are, they're about to throw Macron out on his ass. And in Nepal, the citizens not only burned down their state houses, but they took their elected officials and their families, stripped them down to their underwears, and threw them in the river and took over their own government. So I'm not someone who's, purporting we need to have a revolution, but in a strange way, we really need to have a revolution in this country. I mean, the more they keep feeding us garbage like this entire story smells to high heaven. There's no way, to me, that kid, he is a patsy. He had nothing to do with it. I do believe, like your guy said, he was probably shot in the back of the neck, and the hole in the front was the exit wound, and the bullet went down into the ground, which is why they tore up the entire ground and poured concrete there the next day. Dude, we will never know the truth on this, just like we'll never know the truth on Trump. We'll never know the truth on Kennedy. It's time for us to really take a good look at what the hell is going on, because this, my friend, is just bread and circuses.
Well said. And the other thing that you can always count on is when something like this happens to a person like Charlie Kirk, is that over the course of the next 30 or 40 years, I'm sure that everybody, people who are at various levels of knowing what the real story is, will be at various dedications of buildings named after Kirk, or a high school baseball or basketball court or something. There will be dedications. Like they dedicate many things. The people who killed JFK went right out there and commissioned the building of the Eternal Flame by all means. They're wonderful monument builders of the people that they kill. So,
and we're about to have Charlie Kirk's birthday become a national holiday. Isn't it strange, Frank, that Charlie Kirk was born on the exact same day as George Floyd? I mean, you really just...
I didn't know that. No, I didn't hear that.
It's so... I need to get out my hip waders, man. Brother, fantastic show. Love the show today.
Well, thanks for calling in, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You bet, buddy.
All right,
man.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. Bread and circus. Let us see here. I'm going to let me get into the super chats again just to make sure that we are all caught up. Here we go. Captain Wiggles, Awakened Boomer says, "Hi Frank, great show. In for the basket. Love the fam." Yes, you were in for the basket, Awakened Boomer. I just hadn't had time to read it yet. I hate the show. Thank you. Grady from Mass. Oh, Grady. So I'm sorry I didn't make the connection until then. I'll have to remember that from now on. It's great meeting Grady. A couple of weeks ago, got to meet Grady. Captain Wiggles, what if the whole family and Tyler are all AI? Don't think I haven't thought it. Not just the whole family, the friend from school. Maybe if it's not AI, if it's just an actor, who knows? You're talking about picking somebody out of the nothingness. The entire family could be made up. You know? It's so schizo. So schizo. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to upload this thing. I have to plot all the things I got to do tomorrow. And then I don't know. I think I'm going to go live on Twitch or something from the couch in my living room. I'm going to play some baseball. A baseball game. And talk to you guys while I just for an hour. Something. All right, let's see. What else we got? I think that is it. Oh, no, wait. Sarah Blazik says, "Thanks for entertaining me while chopping corn." That sounds fantastic. What are you making, a gumbo? Captain Wiggle says, "Andrew Kolvek is from Charlie's show." Oh, okay. Andrew. Got you. Now I understand what you mean. There you have it. Okay, let me see. Revolution says, "Frank, it's our 16-year anniversary. Say hi to my libel wife? My libel wife, Michelle. Michelle, why weren't you at the Jamboree? I wanted to see who puts up with Chuck for 16 years. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, Saint Michelle." ST says, "Have a wonderful vacation, Frank and family." There's no vacation. No, there's no vacation. I'll be live on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's Friday the 3rd is when we're going away for the weekend. We'll be back. I'll be away from Monday and Tuesday night. I'll be back on October 8th, Wednesday. I think Jay Gulanello will be joining me that night. Then we got great guests coming up. Next week, we got great guests. I think next Thursday, we end the week with Gary from Nootropic coming on the show. So things happening there. Shan says, "Hey, Frank, thank you so much and enjoy your vacation." Guys, I'm not going away. I'm not going anywhere. And when I do, it's not going to hurt nearly as much as it did last year because we have the weekend to mitigate that. And I also have a Friday night premiere to give you guys on Rumble that evening. So you could be able to go there and watch something there. So Monday and Tuesday, the 6th and 7th, will be a little lonely, but I'll still be doing coffee streams from the back porch and all that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Chad says, "Chad in the running for the basket." I already had you in there. Good job. Okay, 8:48. Here, I'll just I'll throw this out there. I have a couple of reels. For you, and then I have to cut out a little bit early because Lindsay Sharman is coming over on Pilled for extra innings tonight to do our Stand By Me film club, which is public. So if you've ever watched Stand By Me, even if you didn't read The Body which is why the real comparison. Come join us over on Extra Innings. It's going to be good. All right, so here is a couple of reels for you that popped up, and let's see it. Okay, and there's Lindsay's comment right there. Here we go.
Make conspiracies about this, but there are just way too many similarities in this movie and what happened to Charlie Kirk. So in a 1998 movie called Snake Eyes starring Nicolas Cage, a politician named Charlie Kirkland, a politician, gets assassinated in the neck in very almost identical spot, and it is during a boxing match on September 10th. Here's the poster. And the man starring in the fight is Tyler the Executioner. I usually don't believe in coincidences, but I just don't understand how this is possible. The same date, the big event, the big distraction is the fight of Tyler the Executioner. The name of the politician who got assassinated is Charlie Kirkland. It's wild.
Yeah, and apparently there's a lot more than that. Somebody says the Matrix is wild. We haven't even begun to understand what kind of hell we are in. That's glum. You want a couple of things to make you feel better, though? Hey, let's do that. Here we go. Here are a couple of police officers that, part of their education at the academy, I guess, or something, that they have to be tased in order to know, like, what it feels like and stuff like that. So here's a little compilation. Never tell a cop, how did it feel to get tased?
Taser, taser, taser. Taser, taser, taser. Taser, taser.
Well, he took it like a champ. What happened? Wait. Is that guy trying to grab the other guy's dick? Oh, man.
Taser, taser, taser. Taser.
Oh, he took it the best. That one took it the best. Oh, he was good too. He's just like, lower me down.
Taser, taser. Taser, taser. Taser.
Well. Anyway, okay. Well, there's one. Here's another one for you, just to kind of clear the palate for the weekend. Somebody talking about the power of just wearing a lanyard around your neck and assuming that you belong anywhere that you walk into, especially in a corporate setting.
I got a fresh frugal forte for you. So in Austin, there's always like these tech conferences, all of these hotels every weekend, almost every day of the week. So you just put on any lanyard and walk into any hotel with confidence. And just find the floor with the buffet, like the sandwiches. I sat in on a brain surgery clinic today, a room full of neurosurgeons. There's a million of these conferences. You just have to walk in and pick your buffet.
It was a Diet Pepsi.
Gluten scoop. Thank you. So you come with the lanyard, they hold the door for you. They go, prosciuttas this way, pal. Buffets on the 5th floor. Gift bags are on the 6th.
There we go.
I got a
bruschetta. Bruschetta is this way, man. All right. Well, get your lanyard. What's this? What's this one right here? I'm sure I'm going to agree with it. My buddy Josh sent it my way.
We are so excited to announce that we are raising the prices on everything while simultaneously lowering the quality. Our commitment to you is to take as much of your money as possible while giving you the worst experience imaginable. And we don't care if you die.
That was that Spotify? That's the Spotify mission. Spotify mission statement right there. How nice. Okay, this is funny. This is actually probably my favorite meme template of 2025 that started getting really used a lot. Lately, they've been using it to kind of like goof on the Mets, the New York Mets, because they are just awful. And we'll see if they get into the playoffs. But either way, it's been really, really rough going. I'm looking at this right here. This is the Mets. The Mets with runners in scoring position.
Oh my God.
I know. And then there's an even better one. What they said, then they just broadened it out. Here's the New York Mets bullpen.
Oh my God.
It has been popping up all over the place. And it almost doesn't even matter what the hell they put in there. It makes it funny to me. It just makes me feel good. So I watch it over and over again. Especially when it's at the expense of the Mets. That's funny. It's good. It's good. That's good for all. The world is better when the Mets are bad. It's just funny. Oh, watch them go on a playoff run now. Anyway, let's end there. Revolution says if you need music or filler topic for the extra innings, maybe play Ingrid Michaelson, "The Way You Are," or a snip thereof. It was out, the First Dance song 16 years ago tonight. Oh, well, unfortunately, we're doing film club tonight, but I love doing music requests and all that stuff, and I really appreciate you guys for hanging around tonight. Congratulations to our winner this evening. And yeah, that's all. That's all I got for you folks. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for all of our callers, including a little added time with an old friend we haven't heard from in a while, Corey Daniel of Phoenix Enigma. You probably find him on DLive. So that's it. Have a great weekend. Email me, frank@quitefrankly.tv. Become a sponsor of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to quitefrankly.tv/sponsor, or any of the link is in the description below. I'd just like to take this last moment to let you know that we are locking into high gear. And if you love, we have create tons of behind the scenes exclusives, live streams, the film and book club, music, it's all is becoming so much more value. And there's more that's getting unlocked here. Behind the scenes, you get so much for being a monthly sponsor. And then on screen, if we can hit some goals by getting even 1% of the audience, I'm telling you, 1% would get us there. We have about 1% or so now. Been holding steady for a while, but we just got to get you guys on so that we can start traveling with the show. And we can start getting guests to travel to the show and much more. So I'll find new ways to entice you. But if you love the show, just know I work my ass off because I love it too. And I can use the help. So I'll see you soon. And for those of you who are sponsors, I'll see you for the Sunday morning behind the scenes stream, some coffee and all that good stuff. I might even test out Studio B, as I've been making some choice alterations over there for the cold season. Should be fun. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and a wonderful weekend. Enjoy it. Stay in touch. Keep the notifications on. You never know when I'll get the itch and go live. And become a sponsor. We are going to have a public film club in just a few minutes over on pilled.net, where we do extra innings every night after the end credits. Good night. Farewell.
Goodbye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.